going to talk about what all career opportunities we have in a food industry. So I'm also a food technologist by profession, by education. In fact, I can say I'm a core food technologist uh, because in the 6 years of my education in food technology, BTech and MSc from CFTRI, I developed a kind of passion for it, a passion for food technology and a passion to talk about food technology. And as I moved ahead in my career in working with few industries, so the content of my knowledge sharing kept on increasing, kept on enriching. I tried to keep both my observation, my analysis, and to understand the need as a student, so that I can make a right balance. I can make a right balance of what I have observed, what I have analyzed, and what actually students need. Because after spending 15 years in industry, we try to forget. Can I ask the students to stop their artistic thing in right now? You can try your art later on canvas. Because I'm an artist, I also love drawing, painting, and sketching, but not in this way. Okay. Actually, this reminds me of my the Zoom lectures when I attend with my son. He's in junior KG. These kind of activities are very common when the teachers are taking lectures of junior KG or kindergarten students, but doesn't look nice in a professional forum. Thanks again. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what are the career opportunities in a food industry with all my observations, with all my analysis. So when we are a student, in fact I was a student, for me food industry means only food technologists. That any food industry will require a food technologist, and without food technologist, a food industry cannot survive. So I think that was over expectation, exaggeration of my ambition, exaggeration of food technology as a career. No, that is not the truth. The food industry can survive without food technologist, but survival and growth, both are different things. A food industry can survive without food technologist, but whether they will grow in a right direction, I doubt so. So that's where we help them to grow. At the same time, when we were a student or when you all are a student, for you, the career opportunities in food industry restrict to quality department, production department, and R&D department. And that is under valuation of your potential as a food technologist. You have lots of career opportunities in a food industry. So I'm going to talk about those areas, those departments, those sections where you can make your career. I will also talk about the skill sets required to grow in that department. And also I will talk about who all are your competitors, who are also fighting for the same job, who are also fighting for the same role, so that you should not be overconfident, which I was when I was a student, that food industry means only food technologist. So this is the summary of what I'm going to talk in next 35 to 40 minutes. So whenever we talk about food industries, there are big names coming to in our mind. Coca-Cola, Parle Agro, Mondelez, Kraft Heinz, PepsiCo, Cadbury. They're big names, big brands which comes in our mind. One of the beautiful thing about working in food industry is the pride and the smile, the pride which we carry and the smile which we bring in the face of the people with whom we are talking. So when any of your friends, when any of your family members ask you, where do you work? So if you say you are working with Cadbury, if you are working with Parle, where you are working with Nestle, automatically a smile comes in their face. Because these brands, these industries are so much associated with your life, with everyone's life, that everyone try to associate with it. Next question comes, wow, you are working with Cadbury or you are working with Nestle, you might be getting chance to eat or lots of chocolate. If you are working in Coca-Cola, you might be getting chance to drink lots of cold drinks, and that brings a smile, and it's really good feeling, and that is the pride which we carry as a food technologists. I am fortunate enough to get associated with few good and big brands. I did my training in Coca-Cola. I started my career with Nestle, then moved to Heinz, and last for 10 years, I'm working with Mondelez or Cadbury brand. So I know this experience. I know this, the beauty of that smile when I talk with my family members or with my friends. But apart from this, there is a parallel industry which goes and which supports this food industry. And that is also a destination for all food technologists to make their career. And they are the food ingredient and flavor houses. So there are a few names: Firmenich, Juvedan, IFF. So these are those companies. And apart from this, there are Cargill, there are DSM, who are the backbone of the food industry, because they provide the functional ingredients, they provide the flavor to the food industries, based on which they are able to make a superior quality product and a consistent quality product throughout the journey. So a chocolate today you are eating or a Coca-Cola you are drinking today, you will find same flavor, same texture, same mouthfeel every time you eat or you drink. It is because of the consistent ingredients or functional ingredients and flavors provided by the flavor industry or the ingredient industries. Why I'm talking about this? Because as a food technologist, you can make your career in core food industry and also in the ingredient or flavor houses. ICT is known for creating flavor technologists. They are having a postgraduate program, which is MTech in flavor technology, and they have created one of the best flavor technologists of India and world. So if you are if you are doing BTech, you can think about that career as well. And you might land at these companies, Firmenich, Juvedan, and IFF, and there are many others. Okay. So when we talk about a food industry, they are comprised of, they are not different from any other industry, whether it is automobile industry, whether it is a paint industry, whether it is a textile industry, or even it is an IT, information technology industry. The food industry is similar to other industry. This is also a manufacturing unit where they manufacture food, other manufacture different products like automobiles, paint, and other things. So the departments are also same, like marketing, sales, legal, quality, logistic, R&D, procurement, production, regulatory. And apart from this, there may be many other parallel industries where, parallel department, which are supporting a food industry. Now, out of this, you can make your direct career in quality, R&D, production, and regulatory. I have kept quality, R&D, and production as pink color and regulatory as different, because this is something where every company doesn't have. This is something which may not be at the factory level. This is something which is not much known as a student. This is also that department where you need not to have a degree in regulation, because there is no a single institute in India which provides you a degree in regulation, Indian regulation, food regulation. So generally, we make a career in quality, R&D, production, and regulatory. In regulatory, when we enter the industry with our experience, whatever we learn there, we make our career in regulation. But apart from this, we can also think about your career in procurement, sales, and legal. Now, let me start with the sales part. Here, I'm not talking about B2C sales, which is business directly to the consumer, which generally sales managers, sales officers are there. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about techno-commercial sales. And as in previous slide, I was talking about food, flavor and ingredient industries. They have a techno sales department who are a kind of interface between the industry, ingredient industry, and the food industry. And there they are looking for a technical person. This is B2B business, business unit to business unit. Okay. Now, why a technical person is required in the sales? Because in ingredients or flavors, this ingredient house has to sell their products to a technical person. Like I am in R&D, working in R&D for last 13 years, and I interact with many ingredient houses. They have different functional ingredients, which may resolve few of our existing problem. So if a person is from technical background, he or she will be able to explain the functionality of the product to the R&D person in a more elaborate way, or he or she can take the feedback and the counter question back to their application center in a more precise way. It is something like if you are going to a car showroom to buy a new car or buy a new bike, if the person is standing there doesn't know anything about the car, their functionality, what is the what are the different kinds, different cc's of engine, what are the different functionality, what are the different kinds of brakes, what is the difference between AMT and manual drive? Do you think that he or she will be able to explain or sell their product in a better way? I don't think so. The same concept is applied here also. A technical person is hired, he's trained slightly on the management part, and then he's the right person to be the interface between a food industry and the ingredient industry. Okay. Now coming to the procurement. Who are this department? These are those department who buys raw material and packaging material for the food industry. In food industry, we have to manufacture food. Then for that, we need to buy lots of raw material and packaging material. So these are the person who deals with it. Now, how a food technologist can make a career there? Because we understand again ingredients very well. Okay, we understand different kind of milk powders. We understand different kind of emulsifiers. So again, when this guy will be interacting with the commercial department of the ingredient industry, they will be able to talk in a better way. They will be able to negotiate in a better way. The legal department is something different, and you will not hear much about it. When I talk about legal department, these are the typical legal department, what you imagine, advocates. And I'm asking, and I'm suggesting to become an advocate. Why? In the legal department, it is something where I am always suggesting a student, if you are interested somewhere towards the legal industry, legal area, then go for an LLB after BTech. Why I'm saying this? A technical person becoming an advocate can have their career in legal field. almost all the food industries are having lots of cases, maybe related to some shelf life, related to their ingredients, some other things. But if you are a technical person, if you understand the food industry, if you understand food, you will be able to win those cases more scientifically. And this is the gap which we find in the legal world. This is the rarest career choice we see, but it's not that nobody has done this. I have seen few of my seniors, few of my acquaintances who have made their career. That's why I have kept these three departments little away from quality, R&D, production, regulatory, because these departments are where you can make your career, but not directly. In procurement also, you have to do some courses. In sales, there is direct entry for food industry, but it is a little bit different from the other roles. And legally, you have to do some extra courses. So this is an overall where you can make your career. But let me give a little bit more emphasis on the R&D department. Okay? Because when we say R&D, research and development, it comprises of many things. It has product developers, it has process developers, it has analysts, chemical analysts, it has sensory scientists. So within R&D also, you can have a diversified career opportunities. If you're interested in product development, core product development, you can work in R&D. If you are interested in process development, like students from ICT, they are very good in engineering. If they want to make their career in process development, so you can land in R&D also. And you can also land in manufacturing, which is the production department. There is a big department or big career opportunity in sensory science. So many big companies have the sensory science department, because when we develop a product as a product developer, this department, these people help us to do the sensory evaluation of those product in isolation or in comparison with the existing or the competitors. There's a big department. And there is a big department, which is analytical department, where these people helps us to do the analysis of the products, do the analysis of the products which we create as a product developer. Okay. So now I will talk about the skill sets required to grow in these departments and who all are your competitors. Before moving ahead, let me specify when I'm talking about the skill sets. These are the skill sets which are required to grow in that department, not to get into the department. Because as a students, whatever you are studying in your colleges, they are sufficient for you to get any of these roles. But to grow in that department, to excel in that department, to reach to the top of those in those departments, you have to develop certain skill sets. Few skill sets are inherent within you. Few skill sets you have to develop as you grow in that department, as you grow in the industry. Operates, what are the challenges? As an R&D personnel, it becomes easy for me to design those products, to design the process. As an R&D person, it becomes easy for me, or it becomes easy for me to have a successful product design, because I keep in mind the factory, the scale-up aspect. And I got chance to get into R&D in Heinz, then for last 12 years in Heinz, I'm in Mondelez. But again in Mondelez, I moved from R&D to quality also, and back to R&D. So I have done this kind of shuffling in my career, and I feel that has given me lots of opportunities to learn and grow. So this is my message to all of you. Your first choice should be to get a job. Go, understand, learn, observe, and then decide where you want to grow. Okay, now I will start with the production. The production, which is manufacturing, it is actually a factory work where people have to do day in, day out the manufacturing of the products which they are selling. So to grow in this department, I'm emphasizing, to grow in this department, you have to have good understanding of the product, of the food science. Good understanding. You should have a good understanding of the quality systems. But you should have a very, very good understanding about machineries, equipments. You should be very, very good in people management. Why I'm talking about this too is very, very important, because good knowledge of food science is enough. Good knowledge of quality is good, but you are managing people, there you are managing raw material, there you are managing equipments, right? So out of three resources, raw material, in machineries, and the people, 67% is people and equipment. And you should be very, very good in that. When I was in production, I used to handle about 150 people in a shift. So managing 150 people is not an easy task. You should have a different temperament. You should have a different style. You should have a different way of working. So once you get into the industry, learn from your colleagues what all skill sets are required. If you develop those skill sets, you will shine in this. Again, I would like to give an example. We were about 6 to 7 people who joined Nestle from my batch. I was the first one to leave because I wanted to make my career in R&D. But the friends who were interested in production, they are in the higher scale. One of my friends now will be leading Nestle's Bangladesh factory. One of my friend is leading their Himachal factory. So it's about your interest and your skill sets which help you to grow. There is no such department where you can say which is the best department to work in industry. And this is also a question which is being asked, and which is very common thought in the students' mind that, sir, which department should I go to make my career? So my answer is, wherever you find yourself more interested, wherever you think that you can excel better based on your capability, is the right department for you. Okay, because at the end, in any of the industries or any of the companies, each of these departments have their head of the departments. So, and that is the highest point one can go. It's not that only in R&D we have head of the R&D and we don't have head of the production. Okay, so remove from your mind that a particular department is the only department where you can grow. Now, saying this, there are many competitors who are equally eligible for the position in the production department. They are food technologists, obviously, your other food technologists, packaging technologists, chemical engineers, chemistry or organic chemistry graduates, biotechnology graduates, nutritionists, or any people with relevant experience. They are your competitors. Now, next is R&D department. In R&D department, you should be very good in food science. When I say food science, doesn't mean that you should know everything about food science, but at least you should know everything about the product on which you are working. If you are working in a beverage industry, you should know in depth of the beverage things and their ingredients. So R&D person should have very good understanding about the food. He should be very good in, he should be very good in food. He should be good in quality. He should be good in the manufacturing or equipment understanding. He should be good in regulatory. Why equipment understanding, regulatory, and quality is important? Because you are the first person who is going to create a product which should be of best quality so that consumers can buy it. So until unless you understand the quality system, you cannot create a good quality product. You should have understanding of the equipments and machineries, because you have to create a product which can be scaled up. Thirdly, you are going to create a product which will be accepted by the Indian regulation or any regulation where the product will be launched. Maybe you are working in your R&D center is in India, but you are creating a product for Malaysia or for US or for UK. So you should have understanding of the regulatory framework of those products for that country. Okay. And again, a food technologists are not only the person who can make their career, but by and large, as a product developer, food technologists have made their still have the upper hand, but they are not the only person. Okay, others are again packaging technologists who make their career in packaging development, chemical engineers who make their career in process development, chemistry and organic chemistry people who make their career in analytical science, biotechnology graduates, especially we have many people from ICT who are MTech in food biotechnology and with a background of biotechnology, nutritionist, and people with relevant experience. Now, next is quality. The quality department, the person should have very good understanding of the quality system, whether it is HACCP, whether it is ISO, whether it is other quality systems, which is being updated day in, day out. That person should have very good understanding of the machineries and equipments, because they have to develop a quality system for the industry, for the factory. They when I interact with the people in my company, a few of the people who looked into only the sanitation part, they have so good knowledge of the piping, the bending and everything, because they have to design quality system for the industry. And until and unless they have the understanding of the equipment and machineries, they cannot grow there. Okay, that person should have good understanding of the food, the ingredients. So again, repeating, they should have very good understanding of quality system, very good understanding of the machines and equipments, good understanding of the food science, good understanding about the regulation. Okay, so there are other competitors for you, like food technologists, the chemistry and organic chemistry, biotechnology graduates, microbiologists, because in many of the companies, the quality department has a big department within them is a microbiology department who takes care about the microbiological safety or food safety of the product. And their microbiologists make their career, and also people with the relevant experience can make their career. I have seen people moving from quality to production, from production to quality, from quality to R&D, from R&D to production. This kind of shuffling is there. As you go, as you grow, you make your career, you develop your skill sets, and you can again carve your career path accordingly. The last one is the skill sets required for techno-commercial team member. So as I said that these are the people who are the interface between the ingredient industry and the food industry. So this person should have good understanding of the product they are selling. In fact, I'll say very good understanding of the product they are selling. This person should be very good in interpersonal skills, or I can say communication skill. They are into sales, so their interpersonal skills should be very good. They should be very good in their communication part. They also have very good career. They go up to the national sales manager, national key account manager. So they also make their career to the highest level. Your competitors are again many. Any of these science graduates, I can say, food technologists, organic chemists, chemist, biotechnology graduates, microbiologists, even I say MBA people who are your competitors. So in summary, there are many avenues within the food industries where you can make your career. Okay. After getting in industry, try to observe. Not only observe, try to interact with the people of other departments. Understand their JDs or job description. Understand their day-to-day work. Think, analyze, and try to see where your area of interest lies. Then try to build those skill sets required to grow in that department. If you are in a quality department, and if you have and you interact with R&D people or other department, and you have shown that skill sets required for R&D, anyone will be happy to take you. Yeah. Similarly in the production, similarly in R&D. So this inter-movement of the people within the inter-department movement of the people within the company is easier, or than moving to other companies. Suppose I am working in R&D right now. I want to make my career in production in different company. That becomes a little bit difficult, but not impossible. Okay. Second thing was, don't think that you are the only person who are eligible for that role. There are lots of competitors for you in the market. So you have to upgrade yourself constantly. Okay. When I say upgrade yourself, it means both from the technical part and from the soft skill part. Because at the end, if all the students are there with their BTech in food science or MTech in food technology degree, then the industry will look for the soft skills to differentiate them. Okay. So this constant differentiation by upgrading yourself is imperative to grow in your career. Okay. And lastly, okay, so you can connect me through different social media. It's there. If you have any question, now floor is open for you. That's all from my side, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sanju, for such an insightful talk today. And it was really, really interesting to hear about your own experiences in industry, and through your own experiences you have shared. And you can see our chat box is already full. Of course, our room itself is full. We have a capacity of 300, and we were at some point full 300. Some of them were removed because they were doing annotation. So we have a lot of questions today to put to you, and there are so many, but I will take some of the questions which are coming very, very frequently. So there are so many questions again and again coming, how can we switch our experience in one department to another department? So somebody is working in quality, or of course you have already explained, but that question is coming 2 or 3 times. So whether it is from quality, from production to then R&D, or shuffling that.
So to answer that, there is no fixed rule. There's no fixed rule. I have seen all kinds of examples in my career. So there is no fixed rule. The only thing is that, again, I'm saying it is not impossible, but it is difficult if you move from one department to other department, if you are going from one company to other company. Okay. So better is that you make changes within the same company, and then you can go to other company. So how to make those changes within the company? So you have to show that interest. You have to interact with other people. You have to show that interest. You have to develop that skill sets required. Then you can move. Okay.
Yes.
When I said it is not impossible, because I'm again the right example. I moved from Nestle's production to Heinz R&D, but I cannot give that the right example, because that was the early of my career. I was only 1 year experience. It becomes very easy to move. And also the factors which might have helped me there was my technical depth, which I was able to demonstrate during my interview. And obviously the learnings which I had in production. Because as an R&D person, I also believe, and when I hire people, especially at the early stage of their career, maybe 2 or 3 years experience, if any person is having experience in production, I prefer that person. Wow. Because I said the person with the production experience, they have more practical knowledge based on which they can create a right product at the beginning only. Otherwise, I have seen many people who have just started from their R&D. They come with so technical mindset. And friends, industry R&D is totally different from academic R&D. In the academic R&D, while you are weighing for some ingredients, you must be precise up to 3 decimal point also. But in R&D, फैक्ट्री में हम बनाते हैं 5 टन मटेरियल, वहां पर 10 केजी के जगह 11 केजी चला गया तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, ठीक है. सो that mindset is required actually. Yeah, it's everything about mindset, how easily you can switch from one mindset to another mindset. Nothing is impossible, friends. This is my summary. Nothing is impossible.
Yes, you are so right, Sanju. So many questions are coming frequently on whether to go for after BTech, MTech, PhD, postdoc, or in research, or to go for a job. So that is one question. And another question is frequently coming. So how to tackle the challenge of, because in big multinational company, it is very usual that they ask for always experience. How can a fresher prove that, I also have something to contribute to your company? And I have also seen, this is a very, very major problem. How one can prove being a fresher?
Okay, answering the first part, whether you should go for MTech, PhD, that depends on your area of interest. If you want to make your career in academics, obviously you should go to PhD and postdoc. That is not required in food industry, in the core food industry. It may be required in those ingredient industry where fundamental research are there, which is very rare in India. Okay, there are few food industries who hire PhD for a particular role, like in Mondelez world also. There are some people who are PhD specialized working on the ingredient research. So it's not that in typical food R&D, even masters is not required. In Mondelez world, Mondelez R&D center, or in Nestle R&D center, there are people from BTech also. आपके ICT से बड़े बड़े हैं, because that is a different world. This R&D is not academic R&D. Yeah, this is a product development. You should have a right mindset. You should have a right analytical aptitude. You can grow. PhD is not required. Coming to the second point, yes, I also don't have the answer. It's not that MNCs ask for the experience. It's that there are less opportunities for freshers because demand and supply. This is a game of demand and supply. There are many students coming out every year now with BTech, with food science or food technology degree. The demand of that much students are not there. So obviously, to differentiate them, people will look for the experience. Why I'm saying that all MNCs doesn't do this? Because many of the MNCs go to the campuses for recruitment through campus selection. They hire freshers from there. Isliye, it is very difficult to answer that part. I know this is the pain point. I know there is no direct answer for that. Yes. For that only I said that, friends, whatever job you are getting, take it. Because sitting at home will not add to your CV. If you go and join any job, that will add to your experience. And the same experience you can show to apply for the role which you are dreaming now. Okay?
Yeah, so there is another question that is coming from, again, students who are asking to know more about CFTRI entrance exam, and mostly if careers after, BSc food tech, because BSc and BTech, how they are comparable, how is their competition? So would you like to talk?
Okay, so few things. There are few questions which have been repeatedly asked, not only now, for last 10, 15 years. And this is a very common question or dilemma in every fresher's mind. So based on those things, I have written 3 articles, which is there in foodtechpathshala.com, question and answer wise. Go and see for that. One of the articles is, what after graduation? Should I go for master's? Should I go for PhD? Should I go for job? Or should I go for master's? Should I go for MBA? Or should I go for job? There is no direct answer to this. There are many scenarios. Your current scenario, your family background, everything matters there, friends. So go there. There is a beautiful matrix which I have created. Put yourself in those matrix. You'll find the answers. Still, if you are not able to find the answer, just drop a message there. I will answer there. Okay, because this is not a straightforward answer that you should go for MBA or you should go for masters. Okay. Second article is how to find the first job. So that article is also based on the interview or the survey I have done within 600 professionals. Out of those, there are many questions which have arisen there. How they have found their first job, what is the opportunity for female in the food industry? Is it good to leave my first job within 1 year time or 3 years time? All those type of questions will be there in your mind. You'll find the answers there. And third is for CFTRI entrance. Again, I have made a video. Still, it is there in my site. Go there. Last year only it was a big webinar which I have converted into video. It has all the questions, frequently asked questions for CFTRI entrance exam. You will find there. So my website name is here only, foodtechpathshala.com. Go there. You will find these 3 articles. There is a search option. You write dilemma. You will find 2 articles. You write CFTRI. You will find 1 article. I can see one question. Is it better to go for a job or do MTech? Again, it is there. Yes, answered is there.
This question is very frequently coming, whether to go for a job or master or MSc or PhD.
Again, PhD you should think only when you want to go for academics. Because I have seen people getting frustrated. Because even after doing masters, if they join the job, they find their BTech batchmates there in a senior position to them, because even a PhD students are hired like a fresher in a food industry. Because friends, whatever you study in your college or in your PhD, those become irrelevant, because industry has to teach you, train you again on their technology, on their products, on their systems. तो what difference you bring it? So answer question ये भी हो सकता है, then हम 4 साल क्यों बर्बाद करें? तो उससे अच्छा कॉलेज मुझे ले ले बीटेक के 12th के बाद ही. No, because from the college or from this degree you bring a temperament, you bring a fundamentals based on which it becomes very easy for the industry to train you in next 6 months. आप लोगों को 4 साल लगता है एक फूड टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट बनने में if you are doing a BTech. If you're doing a master's, it is 6 years to become a food technologist. Thus, that 7 years or 6 years which you have spent in education, usi ke fundamental pe industry spends only 6 months time to make you up to the industry level. But industry has to invest that 6 months, because without that you won't be able to perform. Neither industry will be able to get your benefit without spending 6 months on you, nor industry will get benefit by spending 6 months on a 12th passed student. Okay, so both are important.
Okay, Sanjeev, this annotation is done by mistake, so that person has apologized. It is by mistake, not purposely done. Okay?
No worries, no worries. No, अब मुझे आदत पड़ गई है.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev, for being here today. There are so many questions which needs to be addressed further. I'm copying all these questions, and you will find the answers for all these questions very systematically. Again, maybe one more blog by Sanjeev, and also wherever possible, I will also help Sanjeev, and for our
sure, ma'am.
We'll put it on your website, and because it is not possible to answer all those 100 questions, and they are coming like multiple times, same question is coming.
And so I can guarantee you, ma'am, most of the questions will be answered if they go and read those blogs. And because these are the questions I've heard for many years, and this is a common question for when I was a student also, when you were also a student, ma'am, then the same question was there. Yeah.
It is very natural for a student to get that anxiety of getting job, and that too in this pandemic, people are like so nervous and they feel like so depressed that whether we will get. But then believe, my dear students, food technology is such area where I'm sure, Sanjeev, you will also agree that these jobs are not going to end. In fact, they are going to require more and more food technologies, because food is, without food people will die. So thank you so much, Sanjeev, for such an insightful talk, and it was really so interesting to hear you, and I have really enjoyed every second of your talk, and your stories shared based on your own experiences in the industry are so fascinating. I'm sure I am so inspired. I'm sure this talk has inspired many of the students, those who are attending today's webinar. So thank you so much for sharing your time and experiences with us. And I look forward for your mentorship again in future for our students. Thank you so much, Sanjeev.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot. It was my pleasure to interact with all of the students. For the benefit of the students, what I will do after just this call, I will put the links of few articles in this chat box. Okay.
That will be nice, because some of the students are asking about the links. Please share the links, and thank you so much.
Sure, ma'am. I'll do that. Thank you. Thanks a lot.